Here's your wrestling news for April 4th, 2023. After being initially reported by CNBC on Sunday, it has now been made official. WWE has been purchased by Ari Emanuel's Endeavor Group and will join with UFC to form a new publicly traded company holding a supposed collective value of more than $21 billion. Former WWE CEO Vince McMahon, who rejoined the company's board of directors as executive chairman in January, reportedly to help facilitate a sale, called the move the best outcome for our shareholders and other stakeholders. Vince also said, "Together, we will be a $21+ billion live sports and entertainment powerhouse with a collective fan base of more than 1 billion people and an exciting growth opportunity. I, along with the current WWE management team, look forward to working closely with Ari and the Endeavor and UFC teams to take the business to the next level." Under the terms of the acquisition, McMahon will continue to serve as executive chairman of the board, while Emanuel will lead the company as CEO, and Mark Shapiro will be president and COO of both Endeavor and the new company. Dana White and Nick Khan are set to maintain their respective roles as president of UFC and president of WWE. "This is a rare opportunity to create a global live sports and entertainment pure play built for where the industry is headed," Emanuel said. "For decades, Vince and his team have demonstrated an incredible track record of innovation and shareholder value creation, and we are confident that Endeavor can deliver significant additional value for shareholders by bringing UFC and WWE together." The deal sees Endeavor take ownership of 51% of WWE, while the company's existing shareholders retain 49%. The new company will list on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol TKO. The transaction values WWE at $9.3 billion, which was McMahon's reported asking price back in February, though WWE stock is down in pre-market trading, indicating that investors disagree with the valuation. And comes the day after the conclusion of WrestleMania 39. What do you think about WWE finally being sold? Sound off in the comments below. For Endeavor, the purchase of WWE is just the latest big deal reached by Ari Emanuel's company. In 2016, Endeavor purchased the UFC, and in what was a moment of relief for fans, the product and those running the product did not change following the acquisition, with Dana White remaining on as UFC president. Fast forward 7 years, and now Endeavor is doing the same with WWE, and it appears that things won't change too much, if at all, in terms of production. Speaking to Sports Business Journal's John Orend, Endeavor president Mark Shapiro addressed how Endeavor will treat WWE and compared the wrestling juggernaut to UFC. He said, "We're going to run the UFC playbook. The opportunity to put Vince McMahon's creative head with Dana and Ari Emanuel is going to create a significant amount of value for shareholders. That's the strategy. That's how it has successfully played out for UFC over the last 6 years. Remember when we bought it for $4.1 billion? People thought that price was crazy. Now it's valued at $12.1 billion. I mean, what a story. We hope to do the same with WWE." Shapiro went on to say that he believes Endeavor will be able to grow WWE's sponsorship, licensing, hospitality, and ticketing businesses, something that WWE is already excelling in. After all, the promotion did over $20 million in sponsorship dollars alone during WrestleMania 39 weekend, a record for the promotion in that category. Shapiro also joked that Emanuel was sitting next to Vince and doing high fives at SoFi Stadium. He and his partners were in the boiler room finalizing the deal in New York that would be announced Monday morning. WWE and UFC will be part of a new company with an estimated value of $21 billion, but what will the company be called? Sitting down with CNBC, Emanuel stated that he and McMahon haven't landed on a new name just yet, but he expects a name to be public knowledge within the next 4 to 6 months. The pair of billionaires also plan on taking the new company public at that point in that 4 to 6 month period, in what will certainly be an interesting day in WWE history. WWE and Endeavor have a lot to figure out over the coming months, but this is the biggest thing to happen to the wrestling promotion ever, as a new era for WWE and wrestling as a whole has dawned. WWE will never, ever be the same, but what does this deal mean for those who are working in the company? Ever since McMahon announced his intention to return to WWE all the way back in December of last year, the talent and employees have been on edge, fearing everything from mass layoffs to Vince returning to creative. In an email sent to all the company's staff, McMahon tried to alleviate some of those fears and reassure people that things are going to be okay. In the email, McMahon called the WWE UFC company one of a kind and said that they have the potential to unlock vast growth opportunities for both promotions. McMahon was bursting with excitement for the future, or as he called it, a new golden age for live sports entertainment, and said that the deal will allow cross-promotion of content between WWE and UFC. After all this talk, McMahon finally told employees that they will continue to operate as they do now, and that both UFC and WWE will retain their own separate brands and leadership teams. McMahon added that he expects the transition to conclude later this year, and that it will be business as usual, and thanked the employees for all their hard work, which has allowed WWE to become such a successful promotion. In the email, McMahon revealed that an all-employee meeting would be held later that day, and Fightful reports that Nick Khan, Triple H, and Chief Financial Officer Frank Riddick ran the employee meeting. During the staff meeting, it was stressed that Endeavor's purchase of the company didn't mean they were taking over creative control or production of the show, but few details were given as to how this would affect other areas of the company. In a meeting just for talent, Khan and Triple H touted their impressive WrestleMania numbers and once again reiterated that nothing was going to change under Endeavor. When discussing who would be in control, Vince McMahon's name did come up, but details were scarce as to what the executive chairman would be doing. The superstars were not given the opportunity to ask questions during the meeting, even though there have been questions around McMahon ever since he strong-armed his way back into WWE in January. WWE's official line has been that McMahon does not have any role within WWE's creative, and that his return was solely to oversee the sale of WWE and negotiate a new TV rights deal. With that said, Triple H has been open with the fact that he has discussed WWE's programming with McMahon, and it was reported just a few days ago that McMahon was giving feedback during WrestleMania Saturday. When McMahon and Emanuel sat down with CNBC's Squawk Box this week, McMahon was asked if he will have any role with creative in this new era, and said, "Yes and no, I'll be involved creatively. On a higher level, yes. In the weeds, which I always loved to get into the weeds in the past, no, I can't do that." In a follow-up, Post-Wrestling's John Pollock added that an internal email sent out within WWE had the line that Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, will remain WWE's chief content executive. Ahead of this week's Raw, much of the talk online was about the sale, so much so that WWE felt it would be wise to address the matter during this week's Raw. Opening up the show, Triple H made a rare appearance on the red brand to a raucous response from the fans and thanked everyone involved with WrestleMania 39. Speaking about the sale, Triple H assured fans that the same WWE you know and love is going nowhere, and that fans can expect the same show with the same stars. It was a bold move for Triple H to discuss the sale on Raw, given that he had refused to comment on the matter during the WrestleMania 39 Night 2 press conference. Triple H even brought out the line that WWE is then, now, together forever, before introducing the man who left WrestleMania still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. This deal is the biggest thing to happen to WWE from a business side of things, ever, but what do you make to this blockbuster news? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. As we all know, Vince McMahon retired last July in controversy and disgrace after paying millions of dollars in NDAs to women he had extramarital affairs with. Since his return to WWE in January, McMahon has kept silent as to the controversy that forced him to step down last year, until this week that is. Sitting down with CNBC to address his return and the Endeavor deal, McMahon was asked about his retirement and admitted that he has made mistakes. He said, "I've made mistakes, obviously, personally and professionally through my 50-year career. I've owned up to every single one of them and then moved on. I'm not sure of the legacy stuff. I'm not going to write it. I don't know. I want to say, as someone who had an extraordinary amount of fun, great passion for what they did, and wound up with the biggest deal he's ever done in his life." When asked if this sale would have happened if McMahon hadn't been dogged by the scandals of last year, Vince said that it would, stating, "Absolutely, it makes sense. Nothing has ever happened like this before. I'm always looking what's best for our stockholders and our company. This is the best thing that has happened in a long time. All the WrestleManias combined doesn't equal to the magnitude we will do together." While McMahon is ready to move on from his actions, few others are, as before the Endeavor deal, it was said that potential buyers could be put off from buying WWE because of Vince's bad PR. There is some irony that McMahon has sold his company in such a way that he is still in control of WWE, and we can only say that this is peak Vince McMahon. Vince had reportedly been willing to step down from WWE again if it helped WWE be sold, And while others aren't so eager to move on from what he's done, McMahon is ready to let bygones be bygones. With such a huge deal being struck, there's a lot of money being exchanged between WWE and Endeavor, and some big names in the wrestling promotion have made out very well. In a WWE filing, it was revealed that Triple H has received a bonus of $5 million for his hard work, while Nick Khan is taking home an extra $15 million. Frank Riddick will also take home $5 million, and with WWE now an estimated $9.3 billion richer, these hefty bonuses are just a drop in the proverbial bucket for Vince McMahon. Of course, this deal hasn't been the only big project behind the scenes, as WWE also has to deal with negotiating their broadcast agreements with Fox and the USA Network. Renegotiating these deals was also part of the reason why McMahon returned to WWE in January, but the chairman has yet to try and force a deal. During the CNBC Squawk Box interview, Emanuel took on the question about WWE's current media rights discussions and admitted that WWE hasn't started negotiating just yet. WWE's broadcasting rights are one of, if not the biggest annual earner for WWE, so the company wants to get this right, and time will tell what kind of deal WWE gets in the end. Ever since WWE and Endeavor confirmed their deal, we've heard a lot from Emanuel and McMahon, but they're not the only big players involved. While McMahon will remain in charge of WWE, Dana White will be staying on as president of UFC, and what does he make to all this? In a statement, White expressed his excitement over the future, stating, "I'm excited to take this to another level. Vince is savage in the wrestling space, Ari is a beast at what he does, and then add what we at UFC bring to the table, and there's no limit to what this company can accomplish in the next 5 years." White, like McMahon, has proven to be a business mastermind in his respective field, and as we saw in footage of him slapping his wife in January, he, like McMahon, is no stranger to controversy. While the likes of Dana White and Vince McMahon are excited for the future, the stock market isn't so optimistic, as Bloomberg reports that news of Endeavor's acquisition of WWE led to a significant drop in WWE's stock. In fact, the drop from $91.26 to $85.60 was the most significant drop in WWE's share value in 2 years, and while the stock has bounced back to $87.38, it's clear that the market isn't too sure about this deal. WWE's new deal with Endeavor is shaping up to be a serious money earner for the promotion, who already makes a fortune each year with their events in Saudi Arabia. The controversial agreement with the Middle Eastern Kingdom has proven to be incredibly lucrative for WWE, with the first 8 Saudi shows making more than the ticket revenue from the first 38 WrestleManias. Speaking to Axios, Nick Khan was asked where Saudi Arabia fits in with this new era for WWE, and the CEO said, "Our relationship with the kingdom is a terrific partnership for which we're appreciative of, and nothing in terms of anyone else's prior experience will affect that. We think that we've delivered the product in the way that the kingdom wanted it delivered. We have a multiple-year agreement with them in place. We're excited to do a show. We'll be back there May 27th for a big premium live event." WWE has a lot of things going on, and there are far more questions than answers right now, but WWE's next Saudi show will be the King and Queen of the Ring this May, and it will not be the last. No matter who's running WWE, whether it's the McMahons or Endeavor, Roman Reigns will be one of the promotion's biggest stars, especially after what we all saw at WrestleMania 39. In what many are considering an upset, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion retained against Cody Rhodes and is now on day 947 of his incredible run as champion. Even before the WWE Endeavor deal was confirmed, it was reported that the two sides were in talks, and on the post-WrestleMania press conference, Reigns was asked his thoughts on the deal. In response, the Tribal Chief said he had not followed the situation closely, instead stating that he was busy today smashing your favorites, but added that the new owners of WWE will be lucky to have him. The only thing we can say for certain right now is that Roman Reigns is still the biggest name in WWE today, and don't expect that to change anytime soon, despite the purchase by Endeavor. And we're ending today with the superstars of WWE, who no doubt have 1,001 questions as to their future with the company. While Triple H assured talent things won't be changing too much from the creative side, there has been a lot of questions as to how contracts will work in the Endeavor era. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer predicted that the salaries of wrestlers won't go down, and judging by how Endeavor has worked with UFC, WWE won't be overbidding on anybody. Meltzer even went on to say that if Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar threatened to leave unless WWE paid more money, then Endeavor would let them go. and said that Emanuel's company has a salary structure with UFC and will likely have something similar with WWE. The big money for Endeavor will come with WWE's media rights deals, and while losing the likes of Reigns and Lesnar is something the company will hope to avoid, TKO won't be pushed around by wrestlers wanting a bigger paycheck.